Welcome to the Hometown Marketing Podcast, where I walk you through how to build a successful business in your small community. I'm your host, Elian Tyson.
And now,
welcome to Season 2, Episode 2. Now let's get started. All right. Well, hi there. This is Elian Tyson, and I am here to give you another episode of the podcast. This is Season 2, Episode 2, and today we are talking about some time management tips that are going to really help improve your business and your productivity so that you can spend more time serving your clients and interacting or spending more time with your family. So overwhelm these days is totally real. I am guilty of that. I will put too much on my plate on any given day and know that I'm just going to have to carry those tasks forward. So I hope these will be helpful for you. And then in future episodes, we'll get back to the marketing stuff too. But so much of this is fundamental that if you can't conquer handling all this with just scheduling your operations, your customer service, what you do for your customers or what you provide for them, then this is so foundational. So it's super important to do this. As a busy mom, we always put too much on our plate between volunteer activities, your children's activities, your business activities, your spouse's activities. I know that I have a lot going on at pretty much any one given time, and I do very strategically try to schedule those buffer break times. Last weekend we went on a hike, and it was a great time just to get out in nature and take a break and get our mind off work. We weren't allowed to talk about work at all since we both operate our businesses out of the house. So the first thing, one time management tip that is like so fundamental that I think that's really good to do is to do a brain dump. Do this. You can do this at many times during the month, week, or day, but usually try to do this at least weekly. Brain dump everything that you need to do, and then assign some times to those, and that way you can more realistically place those into the pockets of time that you have on your calendar. So for instance, if you know it takes an hour to write a blog post or an hour to put together 6 different social media posts, put that in your planner so you know, okay, I'm going to be spending an hour for that. So you can be very realistic when you're scheduling. And try to group as much as you can in 15-minute segments too, because you have lots of little time that you can kill sometimes. So when, things to include is pretty much just about everything. If you're working on a project, if you're working on a marketing, if you want to put together all your Instagram posts, if you need to take pictures of particular shots, if you need to follow up with a customer, if you need, just all the things, just put all the things on the list and then put those time estimates. And I use an online tracker kind of thing, and so I'll put it out in parentheses a lot of times. And then once you have that brain dump, go through that whole list and put one of these 4 Ds on there. I call them the 4 Ds: delete, delay, delegate, or do. So go through every one of those, and right next to it, to the side, say, do. That's something you can do this week for sure that you've got to do or you need to do. You can't delegate that. If you have somebody to delegate to, then put delegate next to that task. If you are planning for the future to have, say, an assistant, or you already have someone you can delegate work tasks to, then definitely you want to go through and see what you can delegate and get off your plate as soon as possible. But be planning ahead. What are the kinds of things can you delegate in the future? Maybe you can't delegate them right now, but what kind of things? Be brainstorming and keeping a list of those things now so that when it is time to get some extra help, you can easily do that. Then you can put on there, are these things that you need to delete? Things that maybe you've been carrying forward for weeks and weeks now, or things that you've lost your interest about. You don't have to like throw the idea in the trash can. You can create an idea file to put things on a future list, or you might want to just completely delete them altogether. Putting it on that list to not forget it for the future, that's more of a delay list. So you put delay next to it versus delete. All right, so then once you've got that list, you're whittling it down, and use a pencil next to it if you're doing it on paper. But schedule, what I like to do on that brain dump list is put what day of the week you think you're going to be able to work on it, like put an M next to that item, and then you can quickly see what are all the M tasks that I need to get done for the week. But definitely on a day-to-day basis, is you want to schedule the most important thing or the hardest thing first. If you've followed me for any length of time, I like to try to use the one thing, the book, to probably help me prioritize what gets done. So it might not be something that's super hot today, but maybe you're working to write a book or to do some larger project that's going to take a lot longer time. But if you never take the smaller increments to work on it now, then you're just never going to get there. So that could be, for me, some of the harder things is creating or writing. I can do the images and the design stuff quickly, easily. It doesn't take a lot of brain power, but when I need to like sit there and write, say, a blog post or other in-depth content, one, there might be some research I need to do, but two, it takes a different focus, and usually that's the first thing in the morning. So schedule the most important thing first. And then my fourth tip, we've got 6 tips today. My fourth tip is to use what I call routines or routine stacks to your advantage. So a routine stack is basically several different things that you want to do back to back in a group. So like maybe a morning routine, you've got to get up and shower and brush your teeth and take your vitamins and have breakfast and that kind of thing. And here's some other examples of some routines. A nighttime routine that will create a super solid morning. So list out what your ideal nighttime routine. Now, a trick here is right now to sort of dream what the ideal would be, and then you can back in and work towards it. And I'll explain that in just a minute. But right now, brainstorm what your ideal would be, and then that's keeping the end in mind, the goal setting technique that's so powerful. Some other examples: creating your personal mental health routine, a Sunday planning routine to set your week up for success. Those are some different ways to like be getting yourself thinking. Maybe it's even kid related or family related. So what that means is, so let's just say that we're going to do this nighttime routine that's going to give you powerful. It means perhaps it's go to bed on time, brush your teeth, wash your face, moisturize, say your prayers, maybe you want to journal or meditate. So you put your ideal down on a card or in your notebook, and then if you're just starting and you don't have any of those as habits, then week 1, for instance, or even a whole month, add one to that stack so that you're not overwhelmed trying to add too many at one time and then feeling burned out at the end of the week. So this is especially would be helpful for everybody in January when they're doing their health and goals for the new year, that instead of trying to make all the changes all at one time, let's do one, add one each week or add one each month, depending on how long you want to sit with that new routine. But that is a super way to have those stacks and to build those stacks. So there's research and there's other books and reference materials out there, like The Miracle Morning. I've not read it, but I know it's out there as far as developing a very powerful routine to make your day the most it can be. All right. Number 5, use time blocks. Time blocks are wonderful because they help you put in like a chunk of time to focus in on one thing, whether you're focusing on your business, focusing in on your family. Put them in your schedule, and as you're filling out your week, you can say, okay, my toughest thing is writing, and I'm going to knock that sucker out first thing Monday morning between 9 and 12 o'clock. So I will do all writing related tasks between 9 and 12 o'clock and get as much done. And of course, within those tasks, you can prioritize which one's the most important. What do I need to get done? So it might not all be for a larger project, but it might be, I've got emails I need to write, so I'm going to go ahead and write some of those. I've got Instagram captions or social media captions I need to write, so let's go ahead and get those written out. I've got, just whatever, anything related to that topic. Or you can do it by project. So for me, like with the podcast, I'm just going to quote, work on the podcast for the next 3 hours. And usually my time blocks are between 2 and 4 hours. So have that block of time and focus in on that one grouping, and then turn off your ringers, turn off your notifications, because the task switching, going back or getting interrupted, how many times, oh my gosh, I just took a phone call and now I'm getting back to work. What was I doing? I can't even think. It takes 10, 15, 20 minutes just to get back in the zone and remember. So make sure you turn off your notifications for that, and you will get a lot more done. All right. Number 6, the last one for today, is use a system. Doesn't matter what system you use, really, but use a system. One of my first mentors taught me how to do this brain dump and weekly and monthly scheduling in a notebook. So I, for a long time, did the notebook system for a very long time. I still do a version of that where I have a Word document on my computer, and I'll update it every Sunday. And then I'll have all my tasks and things on an electric system. I was using Asana. Now I'm using what's called Notion. But there's also Trello. There's all different kinds of programs out there that you can use based on your personality to like set up reminders, when you have reoccurring tasks. Those are very helpful. So the main thing on the system, if you do an electronic system, is remember when I said to list out the task, we'll put the time estimate in there and just see if you're close, and that will help you when you're scheduling. Oh, I've got 15 minutes. What can I quickly do in 15 minutes? Oh, I can do that. So it helps you see it quickly in a list. And it makes, so like if you have to write a blog post, takes 60 minutes, or you want to spend 15 minutes a day on Instagram networking, you could, put that 15 minutes in there. So I hope that this has been helpful for you, and I look forward to sharing more information and training with you in the upcoming months and years on the podcast and in my workshops. I do have an upcoming workshop. I'm in the middle of revamping my Easy Online Marketing workshop, and I'm going to be offering that live. So stay tuned for the details, and I hope you can join us for that. So you have a fantastic day. Bye-bye. If you enjoyed this episode, be sure to subscribe to the podcast on your favorite player. You can get the link at highimpactbusiness.com/podcast.